Hello. My name's Adrian Cockings and welcome and thank you for coming back to the coronavirus update video number 37.0. I can't believe we are 37 videos into this, which is crazy. And yes, I do need a shave, I know. Maybe tomorrow I'll fix up and look sharp. Anyway, for anyone who is new to watching these videos, my name is Adrian Cockings and I basically do a rundown on the Spanish news and all the latest notifications that have been coming out over the last 24 hours here in Spain. We like to do a rundown on the numbers. We like to debunk a lot of the fake news that is coming around on social media, especially on Facebook as well. And we like to talk about all the latest news that has come out from government official sources, such as Bowie.com, Ministerio de Sanidad, and just basically running through all of this so you guys can understand and you don't have to use Google Translate with everything. So, for any new-time listeners, thank you for joining in. Thank you for liking, for commenting, for sharing, and for the old-time listeners, the ones who have been there since day one, I, again, appreciate everything that you guys have been doing because you're the ones sharing these videos out and they're getting to the right hand. So yeah, thank you very much. And in fact, if you guys are a long time listener, tell me, what episode did you actually start listening from? Was it from number 1, number 5, 10? When did you start watching? Let's see how many of you long time listeners have been in there from day one. We'll see how that goes anyway. Okay, so as today is the 21st of April 2020, we're going to run through, like I always do at the start of each video, we go through the numbers that have happened in Spain, and then we'll go on to some other news as well. So as of today, the 21st of April 2020, there are 204,178 people infected. That is just under the 4,000 mark in the last 24 hours, and this is 3,968 people in the last 24 hours. So again, it's still on the decline. Of course, we did say about the numbers going up and down and up and down, but it's gradually on the decline. So it's never going back to what it was over the last week or so. So this is good numbers here. Recovery rate, we have 82,514 people in total, and that is 1,928 over the last 24 hours. Again, not the highest number that we've seen in the last week, but it's still a good number. And as of deaths, we do talk about the deaths as well. There are 21,282 deaths in total, and that is 430 over the previous 24 hours. Again, some good numbers that we can see here, and as we're looking on most of the charts, we can just basically see the gradual decline going over the last week, and hopefully over the next 2 weeks as well, we'll probably see that decline continue to go on. Yes, there are going to be days where they are up and down, but we are likely to see the decline going through the next 10 days at least. Okay, so let's move on to some fake news. Now, this last week, on the previous week, we have seen a lot of fake news coming out and a lot of people asking me to talk about it. The biggest news was the extension was going to go on to the 10th or the 11th of May. And as you saw yesterday, in actual fact, this was not the case. We knew that there was going to be an extension put into place. And I always tell you when something is proposed, something is suggested, or something is just talked about. And this is exactly what I said from yesterday. The government have basically said they will be putting it until the 9th of May, not what all the other media outlets were saying. So again, this still has to go to Congress, it still has to be approved, but the way everything's going at the moment, it's most likely that it will be approved to go until the 9th of May. But we never know what could happen. It could take a U-turn and then it would be declined in Congress. We just don't know yet. So yeah, basically President Sanchez will have to go to Congress, and the extension that he wants to put forward is going to be from the 27th of April until the 9th of May, with some conditions in there as well. So we'll talk about that later on. Also, some fake news that a lot of people are still asking whether this is fake or not, which is hotels and restaurants are now closed until winter. Again, fake news. This is not news that has actually been confirmed by any government official whatsoever. This is just speculation. And actually, the woman who did speculate this and think of, or the person who said this, she has now recalled or retracted this statement. So again, it's all fake news because this was her suggesting that it won't get back to normal until the 21st, and she did mention that it could be for restaurants not staying open until the end of the year. So again, it's not a government official statement saying that this is closed or anything like that. This is just what people are talking about. So No, bars, restaurants, hotels, these are not going to be closed until winter time. The general idea that I'm getting from Congress and from other political parties is that we will not return back to normal until winter. And yeah, I agree on that. It's never going to be back to normal, and at least not until winter. So yeah. Also, fake news of borders being closed. Well, we have a little bit of news that we're going to be talking about that today. Basically, yes, borders are still closed, and they are closed for anyone who is not a citizen or a resident of Spain. I'm still getting messages on a daily basis of people saying that they want to come to Spain. Am I allowed to come to Spain? My family is in Spain. Can I travel to Spain? The answer is yes, if you have residency. If you don't have residency, you are not able to travel. Now, there is a new document that came out today, and I will be talking about that later on, but it's the gist of it is that the rules are still continuing on until at least the 15th of May. So bear with me, I'll go into that afterwards, okay? Also, there was the fake news over the weekend that airports, when they do open, they'll be testing everyone coming into the country. No, this is not the case. Again, this is speculation from people talking. And it could be someone, for example, working for the airport, maybe Aena, and they have basically speculated this. And of course, the media had a field trip with this, and they went all over that testing is going to be mandatory. No, this is not the case. The government has not said anything about testing being mandatory, especially people coming through the airports to get into the country. So no, this is fake news. And the last thing that is fake news, masks being mandatory. No, masks are not mandatory. You are allowed to go to the supermarket, pharmacies without a mask. However, some establishments are putting it as their own rule that they have to wear a mask and they have to wear gloves. This is the own establishment doing this themselves. It is not the government doing this, and yes, they are in their right to do this. So, yeah, that's the only update on the fake news that I can talk about there. So again, if you find this useful and you think you have some fake news, please share this with anyone, because maybe they think that this news is actually real and this could actually debunk it. Oh, one more thing as well, this was actually came out a couple of days ago, but a lot of the news organizations have been talking about it today. And this is basically a couple of images have been released of the dateline, or the timeline, sorry, of the release of when we're going to be opening up different shops, opening up different and going out to the lockdowns, communal areas, and when they're going to be opening. This timeline is fake. There has been no government official press release to say that they have this in plan. I think they do have some sort of plan like this, but all of the images that have been put out there, the first images were from, of course, the 11th of May, when they thought that the 10th of May was going to be the extension. So, of course, these are all speculations. These are fake images that have probably been put together by someone in the media just to try and get some movement onto the website. So, again, fake news. Any resources or any photos that you've seen about a date timeline of all the dates of when we're going to be opening up, this is not true. We have to wait from a government official website or Boeing.es for when they're going to be releasing any sort of information of a lockdown being lifted, okay? As of today, there is no such information. Okay, let's move on. And then probably the biggest news was yesterday's video. Lily took the video. Oh my god, you guys didn't even ask any questions. You were mainly asking about Lily. Lily is fine. I really appreciate all of your comments asking about Lily, just basically saying how beautiful she is. I really appreciate that. Yes, she is an absolutely gorgeous baby, and I'm being biased. I'm definitely being biased there, but she's a gorgeous baby. I think she looks a lot like her mother and a lot like me. So yeah, I think we are very beautiful people. No, she is fine. Yes, she got her dummy straight away. Of course, I just wanted to carry on with the news as much as possible. And as you saw, I was holding the dummy, and yeah, she was watching it. So if you guys didn't get any of the information as you guys were just probably watching Lily as she was sat here, go back and rewatch the video, because I know you probably missed a couple of things whilst watching Lily. So yeah, kind of crazy there. But yes, Lily has a dummy. She even had a nice bottle afterwards. So yes, and all the people who were asking as well, we had a couple of stressful days. I think it was on Sunday. And my wife even put out a post. And it's basically, she hasn't been feeding well. So we've had a couple of emergency appointments with the pediatrician. And yes, she is all okay. It's just the feeding was going a bit of a disaster. We were on formula, but now we've changed to a different formula, and now it seems to be going back to normal. So thank you for everyone who was asking. Thank you for everyone who was concerned about Lily. She is fine, she is doing well, and we're hopefully getting back into a normal kind of regime here, okay? So thank you. Okay. Let's talk about the real news now. So the biggest news that has actually come out is the health minister has been releasing the information of the children that are able to go out. Now, it's not what we were expecting, and again, a lot of news organizations and a lot of posts were shared about the age differences and the times when they can go out, where they can go. And again, until it's released from a government official page, I will never share it, because for me, it's not going to be the true information. It's probably going to be speculation. And actually, I was right, because what has happened today, the government have basically announced that from the 27th of April, that is on Monday, children under the age of 14, I guess this is going to be 14 and under, will be allowed to go shopping with a parent or guardian, to the banks or to the pharmacies. That's it. That's the only lift of the lockdown that we have for children. We don't know. Again, I don't have all the information because I was just watching the highlights this afternoon. But basically, yes, anyone who is under 14 can now accompany someone to the supermarket, can now accompany them to the banks, and can accompany them to the pharmacies. It did not say anything about those families with children being able to go out to exercise or to have free time. So no, you are not allowed to go out, and you are not allowed to be able to go to the parks or anything like this. This is not allowed at all. So it should be one adult per person. So for example, if you have 2 kids in the family, one person could go with the mum, one person could go with the dad. Or one child, each parent. That's basically it. That's all the information we have. Now, it's a bit of a shame because, of course, a lot of people were asking, can we go out and exercise? Can we go to the parks? No, it is only to the supermarkets, to the pharmacies, and to banks. So what I'm predicting next week, and this is probably going to be happening a lot, there are going to be people taking advantage of this. I understand, they've got kids in their house, they want to get out, and I understand what's going to be happening. So next week, I can predict that the supermarkets are probably going to be rammed, absolutely heaving. And this is just because this is the only places that they will be allowed to go. So I'm predicting that a lot of people will be taking advantage of this and trying to get to the supermarket just to buy a loaf of bread and some milk instead of doing a weekly full shop. So that's what I'm predicting. It's a shame that, of course, there wasn't much more news about it, about maybe going out to the parks or even to an open area, but it wasn't announced. So it's a bit of a shame, really. So that's the basic news of the children being out from lockdown. And I've just realised we've got 1,800 people watching right now. I think we could get to 2,000. Click that share button. Let's try and get it over to 2,000 here. Okay, more news. So, of course, this week, President Sanchez is going to be going to Congress, and he will be taking the proposal for the extension of the lockdown from the 27th of April up to the 9th of May. Now, this proposal hasn't been leaked or anything like this. It's just information that has been coming out gradually from government official sources. And basically what has been proposed as well, and this has actually been from a lot of different community presidents, so as in regions of Spain such as Murcia, Valencia, Andalusia, they've been putting proposals towards the president, and because these regions have had the lowest rates of infection rates and death rates, there could be, I'm not saying that this will happen, but there could be in the future, over the upcoming weeks, this could actually be talks of lifting the lockdown gradually for these different areas before some of the major cities which have been hit hard. So this is only talks at the moment, but if we do see something like this coming out, this could be fantastic. And basically the regions that were mentioned were Andalusia, the Canary Islands, and for the Murcia region, Valencia was also in the mid-range of the rates, but not on the lowest range. So this is only talks at the moment, but this could be a good sign over the next couple of weeks. I'm predicting it will probably be just before the 9th of May that they will have some sort of system in place where places like Murcia, where they've had a very low rate of infection, could actually be on a faster lockdown. So we don't know what could be happening with that, but I will keep you informed. So of course, a lot of people are going to be asking or probably seeing this news going around. I just want to confirm this now. It is not official. It's just news and people talking at the moment. It's actually government official sources talking, but it's, again, proposals that need to be put into place here. Okay, next news, and again, this is going to be kind of a short video today. It's not really much news, but we'll go into the next bit. Hotels. So, of course, a lot of people have been asking about hotels, when they're going to be opening up, etc. We don't know when they're going to be opening up, unfortunately, and that is, of course, a majority of the tourism office. So, or the tourism sector. But what hotels have been doing, they've been offering their services to the social the health service here in Spain, and hotels have actually been converting into safe isolating areas, which I think is actually a great idea. These hotels can still stay in business. The government is going to be funding this, which is good. But basically, these hotels are now opening up for self-isolation rooms. They're being fully equipped with all the materials. They're going to be able to get food. Hygiene is going to be kept because they've got their own ensuite in each room. So this is all good news here. Now, one thing they're also offering to do for the government as well, hotels are now offering to open up for residences that have been affected dramatically by the coronavirus. So this is basically nursing homes here in Spain. This was a key factor for a lot of the death rates here in Spain. And what a lot of people are trying to do now, especially hotel owners, they are trying to now open up their hotels to help distribute a lot of these residents in these nursing homes so they're not in close contact with one another. And this is actually great news. And if they're going to continue with doing this, then this could mean the hotel and the hospitality industry can actually stay afloat a little bit more and not having their hotels sit empty. So this is, again, really good news here. Right, emergency flights. We're still getting a lot of phone calls on my phone, text messages, WhatsApp, private messages about people trying to get back to the UK. I will still, every single video, if you guys ask it, I will try and clarify this as much as I can. Trying to get back to the UK, it should only be for emergency cases and only if you have a residency in the UK, and vice versa for Spain. If someone is in the UK at the moment, or another country, not just the UK, and you're trying to get back to Spain, you have to have residency in Spain. Now, there's an official document that was released today by the government, which is on boe.es. I was actually sent it this morning by someone who is watching. Thank you for sending it, by the way. My wife translated it, put through the bullet points as well. But basically, it's just a document, a decree that is going to be extending the lockdown of the borders at the moment until the 15th of May. So what can we see from this? Well, if the lockdown is lifted on the 9th of May, it still means that the borders are going to be shut at least another 6 days before something else probably is put into place. Now, as I said, the only people who are allowed into the country are going to be health professionals, so basically people working in the health service coming out from other countries, and professionals in the agricultural sector as well. This will be workers, mandatory workers that are coming in to maybe help with the agriculture or something like this, pickers per se. But this is basically just put into the decree. I'm not sure if it's going to be followed as in what has happened in Ireland, but yeah, it's going to be followed. But anyone who is trying to get back to Spain, you have to have a residency to be able to get back into Spain, okay? That's the only way that you are able to get back into the country. I've said this many times and I've written this many times on different messages. If you have an emergency or something like this, the best place to contact is the British Embassy or the Spanish Embassy. Now, one of these, basically, if you're trying to get back to your home country in the UK, let's say, ring the British Embassy, because they might be able to offer some sort of advice on flights, getting out of Spain and getting to your home country, but they might be able to offer some sort of documentation to help you get on board. So this would be the only advice that I can give you there for people trying to get home. And that, my dears, is it. It was a short news day today. I basically wanted to keep it as short as possible because there wasn't really much there. But yesterday I asked you the question, what would you do differently if you could do the lockdown? If you could go back to the start of the lockdown and you could, if you could do it differently, what would you do? A lot of people basically say buy paint and buy knitting gear, which I thought was quite funny. Buy a lot of home DIY kits and do your own stuff at home. Again, great ideas to do. So there were some really, really good ideas there. But your question of the day today. Yesterday we've got a neighbour above us. I've actually got a drone and I was able to fly some chocolates up to the the father of this little girl, and of course this made her day. And I'm going to be hopefully sharing this video as well. It's something, I'm very, very safe. It's a drone with GPS. It has sensors on it, so I'm always safe with this. And it was never going over 50 meters. It was never out of my sight, so I was keeping with the rules of this as well. But basically, I thought it was a really, really nice idea. You know, it's something that I could do for this little girl who's our neighbor, and she's been in confinement for at least 40 days now. So I just thought it was something to cheer her up. Now, this is going to be your question of the day. I did this yesterday, but if you could receive something via a drone, what would you receive today? That's going to be your question of the day. If you could receive something via a drone, what would you receive and why? Now, if you don't know what a drone is, it's basically a mini helicopter. That's all it is. So if you could receive anything in this world via a drone, what would you receive? All right, that's basically going to be your question of the day. Remember, I'm going to be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. If you have any of the latest news that I've missed, message me and I'll be able to hopefully update you tomorrow. If you've only joined in halfway through this video, go back to the start of this and try and watch this video again, because there's going to be a lot of information about the fake news, as well as children being allowed out as well. I will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Remember, 8 p.m. tonight, get onto those balconies, get onto those into those gardens, give a round of applause for the people on the front line, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.